Hi, welcome to today's vlog post. This time I'm going to be talking about my experiences as a child, my memories of some of the things that have happened uh, associated with my chronic health issues, my Spina Bifida. The first one happened when I was about 3, I believe. I was very young anyway. But I remember this. I was in isolation. I got an infection. I can't remember if it was a kidney infection or what it was. But anyway, it was an infection. And so I was in isolation, and my family, I was in another country. I was transferred to another country when I was quite young um, for medical care because the place where I lived didn't have it. And so I was in isolation for this infection and away from my parents because they were, like probably 50, maybe 50 or so miles away across the border, at least 50. And so I was alone a lot of the time. And a play lady there who scared me half to death. I mean, she looked like a witch to me. Poor lady, she was so nice to me, but she scared the blazes out of me. And she noticed that I was really scared and alone a lot of times because my parents, with the isolation, hardly anybody could come in unless they dressed up in, from head to toe and gowns and masks and all that. And my parents were far away and they had 7 other kids to take care of at home. So they were back and forth, but not there all the time. And so she arranged for candy stripers and other healthcare volunteers and workers to come in and spend time with me all the time. I mean, unless I was sleeping, I had somebody with me. So that was really cool. But I remember the only kid that I saw was somebody through this window. They had a window in the wall, and I could see this kid in another room. We couldn't hear each other, but we'd smile and wave and play through the window as best we could. That was about the only kid I saw for a while. Another one, well, back to the isolation. I think that is one of the reasons why I don't like to be left alone. Like, my husband drops me off at a store, and I'm getting better at it as I've gotten older, but there was a time when it really creeped me out because I thought, well, maybe they won't come and get me. Well, this is absurd. Now, of course they're going to come and get me, and of course my parents did visit me back then, but as a kid, you remember those things, and it was really tough. Um, and that stayed with me. So I don't like to be left alone, left off somewhere. I'm afraid that they're not going to come back and get me for some reason. Um, as I said, that's better now, but for a long time, that's the way I was. And I know it was associated with the isolation. And there was another time. I was in for foot surgery, I believe. And I was a teenager probably. And my roommate was in for a facelift. And she wanted to look good for bingo. That was the reason for her facelift. Everybody has their own reasons for facelift, and I'm not here to judge. Her husband thought she looked fine, but she wanted to look good for bingo. And she had a royal fit when the doctor said she couldn't stay until she looked good. She wanted all the scarring and everything to be gone before she went home. And the doctor said, we can't keep you there that long. So the poor woman, she was before the surgery, she was having a fit, and her husband said, "Let me take you home. You look fine to me. Let's go home." But she wanted to look good for bingo, so she went through with it, and she was sicker than a dog the next morning after the surgery. Oh my goodness. And I don't take that well. When somebody's sick in front of me, I end up feeling sick. So it's like, oh dear, let me have a different roommate. So that was one of my roommate stories. I've got a ton of roommate stories. Oh my goodness. Um, and also in 1985, I had a revision, a bladder revision. Um, and so um, that one was actually pretty fun. It was really terrifying, but it was really fun. Um, because the nurses and the doctors were all really, this was a new situation that they were going through. There were a new procedure that they'd never done before. So I made it into a medical book too. I think somebody talked to me and gave me a paper to sign to see if they could, so they could talk about it in a medical book. I'm like, wow, that's bizarre. Uh, I never thought I'd make it into a medical book. Um, but anyway, this was, everybody was really nice, except this one nurse. Well, he was nice, but he tried to do too much for me, and he was getting upset with me for um, taking too long to get into bed. Well, my belly was full of stitches and tubes and everything else. It was a lot of pain. I was going through a lot of pain. He lifted me from under the arms and just right back onto the bed. I kicked him. I don't remember where I kicked him. I don't know where I kicked him, but I kicked him. And as far as I was concerned, he deserved it. I should have been able to just go my own pace and get into that bed, but he was rushing me. So I told him to get that blazes away from me and leave me alone. And afterwards, I heard him talk to my roommate. They were getting back from somewhere, and he said, "Do you need any help?" And he said, and she said, "No." And he says, "I've learned from experience not to offer too much help to the patients and let them do what they can do." That was because of me kicking him, I'm sure. Um, so you gotta. I mean, they've got a job to do, but they've got to respect your um, opinions too, and your wishes. Um, and during that time too, I was really scared before the surgery because it was a big one, and I knew that I was gonna have a long recovery, and I'd never had I'd had the surgery before, but way back when I was really young, and I don't remember it. I remember this time though, and it was really scary. And right before the surgery, my best friend in the world um, called me and wished me good luck. He said, "I just wanted to call and wish you good luck and tell you that I love you." And I just bounced right onto that gurney and said, "I'm ready." And everything went well. Everything went well. Still, I still had a heck of a recovery, but it went well. So, I got a lot of I got a lot of support from family and friends and doctors, nurses. So it was a nasty experience, but it was also a good experience too. And I remember um, that time when a nurse came in. I think I was in my 20s probably, and she said, she came in and she was talking about my situation. I don't know what I was in for. And she says, "It's amazing. You've been through so much and you can still smile." And I thought that was nice, but I also remember the times that I smiled and I really wasn't feeling it. I was just kind of faking it. And faking smiling is good for you too. I mean, it helps boost your mood too. But a lot of times they were fake smiles, and so it was kind of ironic. She said, "You can still smile," but and I was genuinely smiling for her. And there are times when I was be genuinely smiling, but a lot of it was put on just to put on a face and put on a positive look, even though I really wasn't feeling positive at the time. And I wrote an account of my medical experiences, my health issue experiences over the years with spina bifida, and I called it "You Can Still Smile." So I remember that. I remember what she said, and it's a double meaning. It's like, yes, you can still smile even if you do have issues, but that has another meaning behind it. I was smiling, but it didn't necessarily mean that I was doing all that well. So it had a double meaning. Um, so anyway, those are some of my childhood memories, and I'd like you to share some of yours if you prefer to, if you would like to. I'd love it. Um, Email me at amy@acnlifecoach.com, or you can post your memories, your comments here as well under the video. So hopefully you're having a great day, and hopefully your health is going strong. You're not having any health issues. If you are, I'm I'm hoping that everything goes well in the end and that you get through this rough patch. And I'm thinking of you. Take care.